In this example, we're given the graph of f of x, and this graph, you'll notice, is just a set of points, and they're not even connected in any way, right? They're just a bunch of dots on the page. So the first thing that we're tasked with doing here is to find f of -1. Okay, so remember that -1 is the input into the function, which is the x value, right? So what I want to do, I'm thinking about the x-axis, the horizontal axis there. I'm going to go over to where x is -1 and ask myself, does the function exist at x equal -1? I've got a point here, and it's actually right on the x-axis, as luck would have it. And so what's the y value there? So what's the point? It's -1, 0, right? So f of -1 is equal to 0, right? Because that's the y value that's there. Okay, so the second question, they ask us about domain. All right, so when we consider what the domain is, that's the set of all the possible inputs, right? So the lowest input that we have is at -3, right? And it goes all the way up to 5 or so. Now, we don't have this stuff in between, like at x equal -2 or at x equal 4, there's nothing there, right? So we don't have an interval of values for the domain here. We just have some specific values. So when that's the case, what I recommend is to just list them in set notation. So use the set brackets, and I'm just going to say -3, -1, 1, 3, and 5, right? Those are the x values that have corresponding y values attached to them, right? And only those values. Okay, all right, so now before we think about the range, I'm going to solve an equation in function notation. So any x values for which f of x equals 2. Okay, so in this statement, f of x equals 2, they're giving us a y value and wanting us to find the corresponding x value. So where is y2? Here, I'm going to dot it in purple here. So when y is 2, what's the x value there? It's 3, right? So we would say that x is equal to 3, and we could also write it as a solution set. The solution set is 3, okay? And that's the only value where that occurs. Okay, so what's the range, right? Because the range, that's the set of all y values, right? So the y value, it starts down here at -1, and it goes up to, looks like 3. Again, we're not including all of the values in between here. There's just certain ones, right? So what are the y values that have corresponding x values attached to them, right? We have -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? On those 5 different points, those are the y values that we have. Okay, so when you have a graph that just has some distinct points attached to it, you can literally just list the x and y values respectively that you're given. And because that's all we know about the function, just those points.